Well, it's costly to start a business, especially in agriculture. Well, fortunately, producers can deduct expenses before the business begins. And with the growing use of online platforms, the tax court has applied the startup expense rules to web-based businesses. Well, Roger McEowen with the Washburn University School of Law joins us now with further perspective. And Roger, thank you very much for your time here this morning. Certainly sounds promising for some entrepreneurs. So what are the startup expenses that typically do qualify?
Well, qualified startup expenses, Janet, would include any costs associated with investigating the creation or the acquisition of an active trader business. So just the cost of creating your business and expenses that you incur before the business starts in anticipation of the business becoming an active trader business, which would actually then be deductible in the year paid or incurred in connection with the active trader business. So I think your common types of startup expenses would be your advertising costs, your salaries, your wages, any expenses related to travel to get information as to how to start your business and how to run your business.
So the big question is when does the business actually begin?
Yeah, that is the key question. And there are no regulations that IRS has developed that help us define when a trader business begins. So the question is based on an analysis of all the facts and circumstances of a particular situation. So to be engaged in a trader business, the taxpayer has to undertake the activity intending to make a profit. So it can't be a hobby activity. It has to be regularly and actively involved by the taxpayer and engaged in the activity. And then it must have actually started business operations. Those are your three general tests.
And what about a web-based business, Roger?
Well, that's a good question. And the tax court recently had its first case ever trying to define the parameters of when a web-based business begins. Tax court said that the receipt of revenue is not a prerequisite for a venture to establish that it's a trader business. But the tax court said that you at least have to try to sell goods or services. Well, in the case, the website didn't try to sell anything until after 2015. And the taxpayer claimed he couldn't successfully sell access to his website until he had enough of a high enough number of active users using the website. So he didn't charge a user fee, and he marketed the site to institutional users to build up an active user base. Well, the tax court agreed with that and said that the 2015 activity from and after September 30th of 2015, when the website launched, that was the key point, would be treated as the trader business activity for federal income tax purposes. So he could deduct all of his engineering expenses paid after September 30th, 2015, and then treat all of the engineering expenses paid on or before the date the website launched as startup expenses.
Now, Roger, based on all of this information, do you have any advice for producers who might be starting a web business?
Yeah, keep really good records. Keep all your receipts, preferably a ledger of your expenses and dates would be the best. But record keeping is going to be essential on this because you have to convince the IRS of when you actually started your business, and it's based on all the facts.
All right, Roger, as always, thank you very much for your insight today. Roger McEowen, he's with the Washburn School of Law, connecting with us today out of Topeka. Again, you can go online to washburnlaw.edu/WALTR for more information. Thank you, Roger.